Welcome back. Asante Sana for keeping it Alfajiri every morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on K24. Shiko Kaitani is my name, and at this time, you know, it's time to rise and shine, where we're all about life lessons, simply put, tips to a better you. And this morning, we are here to talk about a skill that many of us tend to overlook, but can actually determine how far you get ahead. And this is self-regulation. Now, simply put, it really is the control of oneself by oneself. And so this time around, we actually focus on the psychological concept of what self-regulation is and how it ultimately ties into emotional intelligence. Well, we're really happy to have life coach Otieno Peter Paul in studio with us, who's going to speak to us a little bit more about self-regulation, and of course, including a big talk event that's going to be happening this Saturday that he'll tell us about. All right, Otieno, karibu sana to the show, Koro.
Thank you. I'm tempted to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Yes, I haven't seen you in so long, right?
Yeah, it's been a long while, yeah. Like Happy New Year for last year and
yes.
Happy New Year for this year.
Yes, yeah. Well, thank you so much, and happy birthday and all
happy
of the above.
Happy everything.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, so karibu sana. As we get into this discussion, of course, we'll talk a little bit about how all this ties into emotional intelligence and your event. But, you know, when we talk about self-regulation, just being in control of yourself, why is it really a vital skill? Why should we actually be thinking about it?
You know, human being is, most of the times we get results we don't want.
Yes.
And we blame it on everybody else except us. But human being was created to be in charge of everything.
Yes.
And first and foremost, we should be in charge of ourselves. And I like saying in most leadership talks that the first person to lead is yourself. If you can't lead yourself, you have no business leading anybody else. And most likely, you will not be successful in leading other people.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is why it's important.
It's very, very important. I think it's perhaps the most important subject in my own thing.
Really? Yeah.
Only that the term self-regulation to me, well, these are new terminologies that people come up with. The researches that they keep taking, and it looks shallow. Yes. Yes. It's
that's
just,
the thing.
but you're just regulating, like you're regulating a door, it's time to open, whatever. But it's an important element in life, and as usual, most important things are not necessarily learned in classroom.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why we call them life lessons, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, there are two types of self-regulation that psychologists or researchers like to put it as, and one of them being behavioral self-regulation. Would you be able to explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, one disclaimer. I'm not much into academics. I know sometimes they can become boring. Yes. I love things that are more practical, more usable. Yeah. And so I run away from big terminologies. Yeah. But let's say, I have something I usually say, that results you want, or I say R equals T plus A. The results you want are a subject of how you think and what you do. Right. So the behavioral has something to do with what you do. Absolutely. So it's always about how do you do this? Do you tell yourself, this is what I need to do, or this is what I don't need to do? Which ultimately results in your behavior. You just guide yourself. You are the way you're behaving. Let me give you an example. Yes. Most people are familiar with biblical examples, so it's easy to give. Yeah? Okay. We are told that at one point, King David, the great king, was idle. And so he was, those are my words. So he was roaming around his balcony and looked around and saw some woman who was showering. Yes. And then that thought led him to act. Now that is behavioral. He was not able to control. He was not able to control himself. Yes. And he ended up marrying that lady, killing the husband. Yes. Yeah. Another one is when Joseph
Yes.
Joseph was put into this temptation with the king's wife, Potiphar, Pharaoh, and he was able to resist it. So those are two contracts. One went ahead and one didn't go ahead. Yeah.
When it comes to emotions then, how then would you also describe emotional behavior, self-regulation? Yeah.
You know, emotion has to do with how you feel. So you can choose to feel sad or feel happy. No, there is no activity to follow.
Yes.
And that's why I find that the psychologists are narrow in some sense. You know, I'm a generalist and I believe in generalizing. There is something I've been pursuing called theory of everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you study one subject, religion, you end up thinking only in terms of religion.
Yes.
You study science, I'm a scientist. You just keep thinking in terms of science. But we need to understand that the universe was not meant for things to live in solo. And that's why most people find problems, then they go look for solutions. People think discretely. They don't think broadly. But if we learn lots of other subjects, we come into play. So emotions, in this case, in present day world, people realize that it's quite useful because it is when most people are realizing that I'm actually in charge of my life and there is something to do with emotion in it. So how can I make better use of it? So it's a very, very central point in more so, you know, many people move according to trends.
Yes.
Yeah, at some point we are talking about phones, mobile telephone, whatever. And it seems like we've discovered things until we are in dilemma.
Yeah.
So we are trying to control ourselves.
Absolutely. and you know, the thing is, Otieno, I've seen now that everywhere you go, there's so many speakers, psychologists, everybody is talking about emotional intelligence. There's this new wave, you know, like the way now everybody wants to go organic. Yes, now everybody wants to talk about AI. I mean, what is it now about emotional intelligence that seems to be quite a big hit, or what is it that you have seen, or what are we discovering about human beings that is pushing us towards discussing emotional intelligence?
There are a few reasons. One would be the natural inclination of entrepreneurs. They realize there is an opportunity here and they capitalize on it.
Okay, yes. But
so there are people who would be driven by that.
Yeah.
There are people who are driven by need.
Yes.
Yes, there is a gap. I take responsibility, let's fill it. Now, as I've told you, the trend is towards the breakdown. You see, today you cannot explain how people just choose to hang themselves. People just can't withstand pressure, can't withstand problems. A few years ago, I used to talk about mental toughness.
Yes.
Some other people kept calling me and loved it and said, I think we need more of that.
Yes.
Now, today, when people talk about emotional intelligence, it's because, one, maybe the name sounds gisty, I don't know.
Yes, it does, by the way, it does.
And so it looks like I need to talk about this or study it. But then there are those who are also inspired. By the way, as far as I'm concerned, I think even when I started talking about emotional intelligence, I did not know it was a big thing that everyone is talking about until some other friends told me, you know, this is a very exciting topic. And I was wondering, where do you get it from?
Yes.
You see, because in my view, as I've been doing my own observation, I do a lot of study through observation and research. And I realized that most conflicts that we face, and more so if you're in a leadership position, you realize that people are not in charge of their emotions. And people do not know the role that emotion takes. By the way, if you understand emotions very well, you'll be able to even see the outcome of certain things before they happen. You see, a few years when US was going to have elections, I told people, I can predict Trump will win. Now, I was not basing it on opinion polls. That's social science. It's not a big deal. I was just basing it on emotions. What emotions? What are the feelings of the people? It's not that the feeling is that that he should win. No, it's just the way. You know, many people who've been able to understand this are able to use it to their advantage, and also even to manipulate other people. And Trump was one of them. I don't want to go to that.
Yes.
So we don't need. It's possible. I would always predict
the
election even for Kenya, but I don't talk about it because it's a hot topic.
Yes, it really is a hot topic. Yes. But like you said, that you can predict the outcome.
Yes.
Based on how people's emotions
yes.
are.
Yes.
And then when you look at it, even from our topic title, self-regulation, emotional intelligence, they kind of mirror each other.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah. But emotional intelligence has the word intelligence in it.
Okay.
In my view, it's much deeper and broader.
Okay.
And for example, the perspective I look at it is, the psychologists look at it as something I need to do, and it's just within it's like you are given a roadmap.
Yeah.
You don't need to go here. You need to go here. But knowledge is not like that. You need comprehensive information so that you know, when should I use this?
Yeah.
When shouldn't I use this?
Yes.
And you can observe things and be able to say, some other people would talk about prophecy.
Yeah.
In science, we can monitor things the way they happen, and then we are able to predict.
Yes.
At this particular time, we are going to have 1 million people in Kenya. That's science.
Yes.
You can see the graph.
Right.
But then somebody who doesn't know that will talk about you are a prophet. You see? So the same thing happens when you study emotions and you study generally the way things work.
Yeah.
Then you'll be able to realize that you can work around it and be able to get bigger results that you've been working for.
Yes. And
you'll be able to also see how have I been a problem to myself.
Right.
So that I'm not able to get the results that I want.
Right. And how are you able to get your audience, for example, who attend your workshops, to really unpack all of that and even identify that, by the way, I am having a problem with my emotions, hence why I'm not able to regulate myself.
One of the problems that counselors have, I'm not a counselor, but one of the problems that counselors have is most people do not even accept their status. They don't even want to believe that I need a counselor. And that's a big problem. That's one of the causes of breakdown. And largely it's also been caused by the counselors themselves, because some people go to a counselor, go to another counselor, they don't seem to be getting a solution.
Yeah.
Somebody once told me a few years ago that, I had to go and learn counseling for myself in order that I can counsel myself, because they could not counsel me.
Right, that's true.
See? So, in this case, getting audience is really not part of my biggest drive.
Yes.
I know there are people who are looking for it, and people who've asked me many times, "Wait, next time you are having this, just let us know, or just let me know, so I can plan to attend."
Yes.
So in this case, we just share with our networks, our friends, relatives, just like that. Some other people will come.
Yes.
Others will be unable to come for whichever reason.
Right.
Others will also choose to say, like another friend of mine told me, "I think this is just but a fallacy."
Yes.
Do you think it's something real?
It's not something like, why would we be discussing? You see, so that also really is the root of it. Yeah. But I find that such discussions, like you say, are very vital, because what you're really doing is making people independent. Yeah. Because now you're not going to be using other people as a crutch to help you figure out how to solve your own problems. When you're mastering self-regulation, or you are actually getting the idea of what emotional intelligence is, it saves you, a lifelong of problems.
Let me tell you, today families are breaking, but they don't know why. Today, religion is not able to solve people's problems. The more they go to church, the more they have more problems. You see, people don't even know how much money do I want. They just keep grabbing, and why? It's all in the emotions. People tend to have accidents. Yes. People commit suicide. People marry their jobs. You see, all sorts of things. They just can't understand themselves, and they don't know why they do that. And it starts from the moment you get to know why things happen the way they do, and what's your role in it.
Absolutely.
And how do you therefore make use of the knowledge that you have to gain some light into it, to gain some control.
All right. So, some researchers also have linked that people with high levels of emotional intelligence, or who successfully display self-regulation, enjoy greater well-being.
It's not just that. It's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that.
You see, if you are in charge of yourself and the environment, by the way, they will talk about self.
Yeah.
But yourself mirrors the environment. There is a way they correlate.
Yeah.
So you can determine your environment. You can choose the way things are. So in a nutshell, you end up being in control of everything. And those are some of the people who you will always hear about them in history.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had some level of that intelligence.
And that's the thing. That's why we are stressing so much on this, because, you know, people will say, I don't see what the benefit is. Yes. This is the benefit.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, somebody, at one point so many years ago, I learned that if somebody doesn't understand anything, they'll say, I don't want it, or I don't need it. Yeah, what is it for? Yeah. But and I realized that all subjects can be very crucial. Yes. But only when you develop interest. Yeah. And that's the beginning of conflicts. You'll realize that there is a lot of ethnicity in Kenya. Absolutely. And you wonder why. Why? Yeah. It's because we've not gone to the level of understanding even our emotions. What provokes you? Yes. What do we need to talk about? What don't we need to talk about? Yes. How can we resolve our differences? Yeah. Okay. But all this can be solved if we reach that level of I am emotionally mature. Yes. You are emotionally mature. We can know how to discuss at par. And we'll be able to live peacefully. We'll have happiness. We'll grow in our career. We'll grow in our businesses and everything. Yes. That's the way it works. Okay. So how do you suggest that we go about teaching self-regulation, especially to our young ones, even as we wind up? And then you can tell us about your event. You see, all of us are meant to be teachers. It's the greatest role. Absolutely. Why? Because all of us are meant to be leaders. Yes. You start by leading yourself, which I told you. Then you will lead your family. You will lead. Leading is influence. You start influencing people to think the way you think. Now, as we grow our children, they inherit our philosophy. Your child will behave most likely the way you behave. Right. Not necessarily what you say. And if you choose that your child should not, for example, get into addiction, you don't do that by telling, let me not find you drink. My dad was a big alcoholic and kept telling me, let me not see you in a disco, let me not find you drink. But that did not stop me. I chose not to smoke, not because he told me to, but it's because I could see what it would mean to me. Yes. You see? Yes. So most of the times, we will take after our parents. Yeah. So in order to teach your child, start by being the person you want him or her to be. Wow, let's amazing. Not burden them and then we are separate. No, it won't work. Okay. We model them. So what can people actually expect at your workshop happening this Saturday? I've been visualizing and I mean visualizing what people expect. And I was imagining like you are in a dark room and seeing some light somewhere and you're going to open the window and you are amazed at the beauty of the sunrise. Yes. Now, in my thinking, the people who are coming with an open mind, they'll be able to find something. They'll be able to get on the road, at least on the road, to their own self-mastery. Yes. They'll be able to know why things happen the way they do and how they should be able to take charge. Yes. This is not an absolute sounds like maths, where it is 2 by 2, 4. No, it's a practice, and that's why it's part of self-development. You grow into it through practice. You get knowledge, then you apply it. You have a choice. Just like you can read a book, you have a choice to apply or not to apply. Yes. But that is what they will expect. They will expect to gain some insight into their emotions. They will be able to know whether they're emotionally mature or weak. They'll be able to evaluate themselves, how they respond to various situations, which we will be able to put. Yes. And at least from there, they'll be able to appreciate what happens around them. Okay. Their families and everything. So you can tell our audiences, by the way, where the event is going to be, where Big Talk is going to be happening. If there are any cover charges, I'm going to give you that chance now to invite people to actually come and learn more about themselves. Thank you. Yeah. One thing with me is, I run an organization called Live Your Dream. Okay. And the concept behind Live Your Dream is I noticed I've studied lots of things, but by design I'm a scientist. I've studied lots of things, and I noticed that it is not much of what we study in school that makes us successful. Absolutely. There is a lot that makes us be able to understand ourselves and be able to get what we want. And so I initiated this organization, and the tagline is Equip and Inspire.
Yeah. I
feel called to share knowledge and ideas that change people's lives.
Right.
So tomorrow, together with my colleagues, we'll be having a talk from, it's not tomorrow, it's on Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
On Saturday, from 3 to 5 at Misha Plaza, Misha Towers. It's just behind Kempinski, along Westlands Road, 3rd floor, Nomad Lounges. And we'll be having a very interactive, a very fruitful discussion. You know, one way, let me go back to that formula of mine.
Yes, okay.
Thoughts. I talked about results are given by thoughts and activities. Now, this thought is divided into knowledge, which is what you know, and then what you feel. Yes. So feeling is there in the emotion. It's still there, but feeling is determined by what you know. If you know that darkness can kill you, or maybe somebody can kill you, you will feel something about it. So we are going to unpack certain knowledge.
Absolutely. Okay.
So that they will be able to control their feelings and manage their feelings. It's going to be exciting.
It does sound exciting, by the way, and it really is an investment. You know, actually taking time to be part of such workshops, by the way, if you ask me. And so I want to wish you all the best, by the way. Good luck. I hope the numbers turn up this Saturday. So you've heard about it, of course, big talk happening. If you actually do want to learn more about self-regulation and, most importantly, emotional intelligence, this is where you need to be. You know, I was actually arguing with Otieno off air about his name. He is Otieno Paul Peter.
Yes.
Or if you'd like, you can call him OPP.
Yeah, first name is Otieno. In my ID, people change my name.
Let me tell you, Ujaluo itakubaliza. Let me tell you.
First name in my ID is Otieno, then Paul Peter. That's the order.
And he insists it has to be Otieno PP. Okay. Yes. So, basi, tumekubali. So thank you so much for taking time to be with us this morning. We appreciate it. All right, remember you can continue to give us your feedback about the discussions we have right here on Rise and Shine through our social media platforms. What do you think? What do you have to say about today's discussion on self-regulation? Well, at K24 TV on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is how you can actually find us. We're going to take a short commercial break, and then when we get on the other side, it's time to get interactive. Keep it Alpha Jury.